Hi, everybody. We are live again. I hope you had a nice Easter. We took a little break last week. It was Easter, so I wanted to enjoy it. um, Today, I want to talk about how movies reflect your life back to you and that it reveals who you really are. I know that those of you who are familiar with my work, you know that this is what I talk about. So I thought I would talk a little bit more specifically about it. and if you're here, say hi. Let me know you're here. And hopefully we have a good, lively discussion again. Um, yeah. So last week we had a discussion about film called Flashback. And we also had a discussion about the episode of Black Mirror, episode 2 last week, episode 3 this week. And today we talked about E.T. It was really, really good. And some revelations in there that uh, I didn't expect, I didn't see coming, but were really, really powerful. I did ask in the community post what ET is and what Elliot is, like who are they and why are they connected? Um, Nobody has yet answered that question, so maybe somebody in the chat can answer it. So, yeah, if you are here, say hi, like this video, because you know it's going to be good. But also support this channel any way you can. Like, share, comment, subscribe, become a member, contribute. There's all sorts of ways you can support this channel to keep it going. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you being here. And so yeah, let's talk about movies. So some time ago, okay, so my decoding days, they started back in 2020 with COVID. And that's when I started to see that there are layers to this reality and that the way reality is presented to us on the surface level of things is not really what it seems. And I use etymology as the foundational tool to uncover this, but you can use a variety of tools, but etymology is the most powerful because words have multiple meanings and it reveals the true hidden meaning of the word, but also the story that's hidden underneath it. Um, but yeah, like in 2020, I uncovered the true hidden meaning of COVID and what that was really about. And YouTube didn't like it. so so that video's on BitChute. And since then I've been decoding a wide variety of movies and TV shows and everything. And there were a lot of factors that came into play in finding this hidden story. And I talk about the one story because the one story is really all there is. Everything else is an iteration. And the one story is what we're trying to get back to. That's the true story of who we really are. And it's embedded in everything. So that's really what you're looking for, right? And but the whole point is to see movies in a completely different way, see TV shows in a completely different way, and your real life and news events. And you know, things like the crazy plane lady and Tom Cowling and revealing what that story has to say and why that's happening in the media. Because, you know, most people see the 3D story that plays out as real, as this is fixed. It doesn't mean anything other than what we're told it means, but it has a hidden meaning and it has an authentic hidden meaning. And the meaning that we're seeing in the 3D is actually distorted. And there's there's like a lot of mental adjustment that goes along with this because you look at this stuff and you're just like, well, how can this be? How is it that I'm seeing this and it seems so obvious to me now? And this seems like This seems real. This is the real part, not the superficial, fluffy 3D stuff. The hidden underneath story is what seems real. And as you put the pieces together, it blows your mind. It really blows your mind in understanding the real story that's being told here, the real story that we're participating in, the real story of who we really are and what it reveals to us. And, you know, it is a true gift to be able to see it. It is a blessing to be able to see it. It is so powerful when you see it. It literally brings you to your knees in tears when you see it. And so, like, I do think that uh, if you're in a 3D mindset and, we're trying to move past the 3D mindset, it'd be very difficult for you to understand the importance of this, the significance of this. And not everybody is meant to see that. Not everybody is meant to understand the importance of this information, because for a lot of people, it's just entertainment. For a lot of people, it doesn't go very deep. For a lot of people, they stay stuck in the conspiracy stuff. And to get past that point, to understand and appreciate the true impact and the true value and the true meaning of all of it, you feel it. You may not be able to articulate it. You may not be able to pinpoint it. You may not be able to explain to yourself why this is important, but you will feel it. And when you feel it, then you know that there's something here. So for example, some time ago, I came across this channel that was talking about the TV, and I knew there was something more to it. I had to watch everything and study it and find out, like, your intuition guides you. There's this light within you that guides you, which is the white rabbit, and it will lead you in the right direction. So I just trusted that there was something else there, and I was right. There was a lot more to it. And the more I looked, the more I dug, the more it was revealed to me of the truth of this place, the truth of who I am, the truth of the one story. And I didn't know this existed. It was revealed to me. I didn't go looking for it in the sense of I want to find the one story. I just wanted the truth. I wanted the truth no matter what. And it was revealed to me. It was shown to me. It was provided. So in that sense, all I was looking for was the truth. So if there are a lot of people who watch, decodes and things, and they don't understand it, well, that's if you don't understand it, I can understand that it's difficult at first, but you have to want to understand it. You have to dedicate yourself to understanding it, because it isn't meant for everybody, right? It's supposed to be a challenge for people who are in 3D mindset. It's supposed to be complicated to wrap your head around, because you are changing the way you think. What decoding does is it changes the way you think. You're leaving behind the 3D lack-based, scarcity, dense, materialistic mindset of the ego. You're moving past that into understanding the multidimensional nature of reality, into understanding the multidimensional nature of you, and knowing who you really are, where you came from, why you're here, what your story is. And all of that's available to you because it surrounds you, because it is a reflection of who you are. You can't escape it. So if it's a reflection of who you are, you're surrounded by it. And that's why the 3D is here in the first place. The 3D is here to reflect back to you who you are, your story, why you're here. And I think this was beautifully captured in season 7, episode 3 of Black Mirror, which we discussed on Saturday, which was Hotel Reverie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Season 7 is excellent, by the way. Black Mirror is usually very violent and everything, but this season's not that bad. If you're here, say hi. Hey, Rod. Sometimes I wonder if certain elements of Hollywood are made to look ridiculous on purpose as a way to keep people away from the truth messages. Such as what? Hey, Coco. Do you have some examples, Rod? So the it's basically like you have to see reality as like a mirror, and it's a mirror of you and who you really are and your story, and it's there to reflect back to you messages, things that you need to hear, things you need to know so that you can return home. That's the whole purpose of everything. Hey, Natalie, how are you? um I'm gonna put a little, oh, do we have that? We do. I thought I could do a poll. Hey, Rod, for one, just how idiotic some of the celebrities are. Do you have a specific example, though? Oh, maybe it's here. What's this? Start a poll. Let's do a question. All right. What's going on here? Okay. I asked a question in the chat. What was the first film that showed you something about you and your real self? So we're talking about movies that showed the truth of who you really are, where you start to see your own life reflected back to you. What's the first movie that you remember that showed something back to you about your real life, about something that resonated to you? And the one eye symbol in every movie showing it's looking at you. Mine was the movie Bliss. Cool. Madonna giving political opinions, rock the vote. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff is meant to wake you up. Well, everything is meant to wake you up, but by showing the absurdity of it all, you either believe it or you don't, and it wakes you up. So some people, they believe it and they think that it's acceptable and it's okay and totally fine and normal for celebrities to get involved politically, and others, they're like, what the hell? Why should we listen to Madonna about politics? The movie Zero Theorem. Yeah, that's excellent. Awesome. So yeah, first instance where I started to decode was COVID. And then I started to decode movies and got into studying this channel that was talking about the TV, basically TV talking to you. And I got deeper into that. And then I moved into um, more of like the synchromysticism stuff and started to see crossover there, because it was around, I think it was around 2020 that I did the uh like the summer of 2020, I believe, where I did the story of your life video, and I started to see the parallels and the crossovers. And like I could, while I was making the video, I could feel time collapsing, I could feel it folding in on itself. And so in that sense, I could see that there was more to reality. I mean, I knew there was more to reality than meets the eye anyway, but to really tangibly get my hands on it like that was quite an experience. I think the first time that I recognized time collapsing on itself was, I was researching history, and I think it was Egyptian history around that era, and I was researching some of the activity that was happening at that time, going through the ages of history all the way back to ancient Egypt. And I noticed there was a lot of replication and patterns. And while I was reading backwards, I saw how time just sort of collapsed. It was as if I was reading about yesterday. And I thought, well, this is very strange. It's almost like there is no time. It's almost like I'm I'm there. Like I can feel myself being there at the moment that I'm reading about it. And that's sort of what happens when I'm decoding movies. I'm in the movie as a result of decoding it. It becomes part of me. And it's it's an alchemical process. It's a transformative process on purpose. It's a transformative process whether you decode it or not. No matter, like, you are what you eat and you're consuming media. So whatever you take in with your attention is what you are. It's it's a feedback loop because you're taking in information from the 3D, internalizing it, interpreting it, making it mean something to you, and then you're telling yourself a story about it, and therefore that becomes your reality, and then it gets reflected back outside, and so it's a feedback loop. So when you get to see that reality or 3D reality can mean multiple things, then you can make it mean something else, and then your reality will morph. So what I mean by that is, like, most of the time we will look at something and we'll say, well, that's good and that's bad. I want this and I don't want this. So you're sifting and sorting between things that appear in your reality about whether or not you want them, which is basically casting judgment. So you're casting judgment of it being a negative or a positive according to what kind of experience you want to have, or making assumptions about what it means in a negative or positive way. So, it's like if your boyfriend calls, that's a positive. If he calls and he yells at you, that's a negative. But you can make it into a positive because, well, at least we cleared the air and we sorted this out and now we're even stronger. Or, oh, that relationship is over. Well, he wasn't very nice to me anyway because he called me and yelled at me all the time. So, how you interpret it as a positive or negative is up to you. And if you want that relationship to continue, then you can say, well, it must be a positive because it's bringing us closer together. Whether it's actually factually externally true or not doesn't matter because you're the one that's making it so. And if it's bringing you closer together with you, that's the main point. And if it's not that person that you get closer to, then you can get closer to somebody else. You're working through your issues. So everything that happens to you or is actually happening for you for your benefit. You just have to be able to see it that way. And that's really what we're talking about regarding movies and TV shows, is that all of these movies and TV shows are a reflection of human nature, a reflection of who you really are, reflecting back to you, and everything that comes in your experience is serving you, is a message for you. And it's your job to see what the message is. It's your job to understand why it's in your experience. What is it here to tell you? What can I learn about myself by watching this or by decoding it or by understanding why it's here? And decoding is what tells you, it's what explains it to you. Natalie, Perks of Being a Wallflower movie really resurrected me out of my isolation. It felt like someone knew all my life experiences. Wow, that's really powerful. Wookie, howdy. Hello, I'm glad you're here. Silver Sea, did you always have your metaphysical viewpoint or were you once quite material? Eh, Welcome. Good question. I'm just going to make some assumptions as to what you mean by that because I think it requires a little bit more clarity, but I'm going to assume. um, I think I always had it, but I was also material. So I always knew that there was more to this world than meets the eye. Um, And I talked about this, I won't get into it because I've talked about this many times about, mm, certain experiences like deja vu, about observing the system, matrix system in real time and wondering what was going on. Um, Wondering at an early age if everything was here for me, and then falling back into, well, it can't be because, it's basically the 3D, because there's all these people here and they all have their own individual lives, and that doesn't make any sense. That's kind of a very um egocentric position to have, but I was like 7 years old, so I kind of had that thought and let it go. um I had experiences with what people would call probably ghosts, but interdimensional activity, that sort of thing. um all sorts of experiences that told me that there was more to this place. And so when people said that they only believed in the physical body, it didn't make sense to me. So I think that it is a very um, basic position to have for most people who know that there's more to this reality than meets the eye. And so yeah, in terms of that, yes, I do think that I was always that way. But I've gradually come along in the awakening process to see it in a much more metaphysical way. Now I would say I'm way more on the metaphysical side, and hardly at all in the physical side itself. Coco, it also does feel like there are some movies specifically made to only be read allegorically using the most weird movies. Usually the most weird yeah, I agree with you, Coco, for sure. Hey Zop, hi, how you doing? How was the movie you went to see? Um, yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of movies that especially are very obscure, or particularly ones that have been critically panned. People don't seem to get it on the sort of what one of my members calls a popcorn level. They don't understand it from that level, and so it doesn't make sense to them. It's not supposed to. Like Don't Worry Darling is one of them. I think Heretic is another one. Even though Heretic was a little bit more popcorny, um, a little bit more satisfying on that level, I think Heretic was designed specifically for people who see. Don't Worry Darling was absolutely designed for people who see. And Flashback was another one we just recently talked about. That's definitely designed for people who see. Donnie Darko, Zero Theorem, um, you know, all of these really obscure, kind of out there films that don't resonate on a popcorn level are absolutely for people who see. The ending of Barbie as well, where she talks to her creator. Oh, yeah, I mean, people didn't like the ending of Barbie. But yeah, like Barbie was a highly esoteric film. It was an extremely Gnostic film. And, some people did see the parallels with Gnosticism, but they they did not they didn't take it any further. They kind of, I think people look at Gnosticism as kind of like just a book. You know, it's kind of like, if somebody made a movie out of the book of Job from the Bible, they wouldn't understand the deeper meaning behind it. It would be just, oh, they just took a page out of the Bible and made a movie out of it. But yeah, there were definite obvious parallels, not just with Barbie, but with Oppenheimer too. And that's why the two movies came out at the same time. And I've made a decode about those two films on my membership. So yeah, like those two films were together on purpose, and they were released together on purpose. Barbenheimer is a legitimate spiritual thing. and and 3D minded people will not understand that. It won't make any sense, but Barbenheimer is a legitimate spiritual thing. And can anybody tell me what that is? Um, Silver Sea, very relatable. Your decode of Under the Silver Lake is excellent. Thank you very much. My opinions on Gematria. Good question. We're going to talk about Under the Silver Lake for a second. So, two of my favorite decodes, Under the Silver Lake and Don't Worry, Darling. Very similar, actually. Even the posters are very similar. But obviously, like every movie tells the same story, so they're all similar. But Under the Silver Lake is another movie that's very weird and absolutely 100% designed for people who see. It is same with the Nines. The Nines is designed for people who see. Um, but yeah, it is a very cryptic kind of film, heavy on symbolism, kind of dreamlike, which I really appreciate. I like the dreamlike quality of that film. I kind of feel like I might want to watch it again, but yeah, like his character creeps me out a bit. He's kind of creepy. Um, okay, so you asked about my opinions on Gematria. What are your opinions on Gematria? I personally, I don't use it very much because I feel like it has been distorted by a lot of shills. And so people think they understand how to use Gematria, but they don't. So I don't talk about Gematria. I don't use Gematria because people already feel that they know how to use it and they don't. They don't know how to use it. And Gematria is associating numbers which have value to letters. And the value comes from the zodiac. It's an inherent value that's connected to the alphabet. And it has meaning. It's not arbitrary. But a lot of people feel like if they just plug things into a gematria calculator, they understand how to use gematria, and you don't. So I don't want to talk about gematria too much because there's a massive block there, and I don't want to come up against it. I don't want to fight it. It's a drain on my energy, and that's coming from a lot of these shills who use inaccurate ciphers, useless ciphers, mix and match ciphers, don't know what they're talking about, and they don't go any deeper. They just compare this word has the same number as this word, therefore what? What does it mean? And they don't tell you what it means. So they sort of infer what it means. The other thing that I don't like about gematria is people manipulate to get results that they want. So if a phrase is put out like, I don't know, let's say Under the Silver Lake, they will chop it up and say, well, Under the Silver Lake doesn't come up with anything. So what about Under the Lake or Silver Lake? What comes up from that? And then they will just use that. Or they'll add words or, they'll add and take away. But that's not the phrase. The phrase is Under the Silver Lake. So if you don't use the exact phrase, it's useless. So there's all sorts of contortions and manipulations and misunderstandings that go on with gematria that I don't like, and people just accept it and they don't question it and they don't really understand why they're doing it. They don't understand why they're using it that way. So I don't particularly like to use gematria. I prefer to use um, it very selectively. Uh, the meaning for like the meaning and the symbolism and the value of numbers I will use, and I will also use letters that have values, mostly Hebrew and Greek. Then there's like some of the basic ciphers from gematria I will use, as long as it's directly connected to the zodiac. The purer the better. That's with everything. Like I try to stay as pure as possible because the more you distort it, you're just getting into the mirror again. You're going out of the purity, out of the one story into a distortion again. You're not looking for a distortion. You're not looking for just any meaning. You're looking for the one true meaning, the one true story. And that's the point of decoding. What is the point of decoding something if you're just going to assign it a different value and make it mean whatever you want it to mean? There's no point in that. Um Where are we at? Uh, Natalie, Barbenheimer let me guess it's to do with Buddhism. In what sense? What do you mean? Coco, I first only noticed the weird messages in music videos before I got to read movies. Musicians like Franz Ferdinand, Oasis, Nirvana music videos are very esoteric. You were going back to the 90s. That's awesome. Okay. What kind of weird messages are you talking about? I'd like to hear specifics. I like specifics. So yeah, like you mentioned some good bands, but like I was a big Oasis fan in the 90s, and their album covers are very symbolic and loaded with codes and stuff. But I can't say I had any clue as to what any of that meant when I saw it in the 90s because it didn't. I didn't know. Um, I would say they absolutely do have messages. Like everything has messages in it. I mean, you can pick up a random book and find messages in it if you know how to read it, but you got to know how to read it, you know? Like this is another thing, like a lot of people well, like I was saying, if you attach a random meaning to it and make it mean something else just because you're not doing it right, you're just trying to get a different meaning, and what's the point of that? So, yeah, She's Electric is very esoteric. Okay. I don't remember that song off the top of my head, but yeah, for sure. I mean, Supersonic is another one. Be Here Now, that's another one. um Um, Silver Sea. True, it does decipher false media narratives very well at times. Yeah, if you know what you're looking at, if you know how to use it, but um, because you said Barbenheimer has a spiritual meaning, so I tried to guess. Yeah, I know, but I wanted to know what you meant by Buddhism. Like, what does it have to do with Buddhism and like being specific? I want something more specific. I appreciate that you tried to guess. You're the only one who did. So, kudos to you. But yeah, I wanted more specific. So, yeah, I'm just challenging. I'm just challenging you, just trying to get you to think. Um, One Eye Symbolism lyrics talking about wanting you to know the song She's Electric. It's also a bop. A bop. What do you mean by a bop? What do you mean by a bop? But yeah, like everything is coded. Everything has a hidden message and a hidden meaning. And but yeah, like I said, you have to know how to look at it. You have to know what you're looking for. And like from hello. Hi. Come on. You've been so good today. I look at you as a teacher. I think it's to do with yin and yang. Oh, thank you. I I guess I'm some sort of teacher. I can't. I don't like being a teacher. I don't like teaching. I can't stand it. So I tend to view it as I learn something, I share it with you. Like that's it. I don't like being a teacher. I actually was I guess a teacher at a college for a while. Hated it. I hated it. I don't mind like coaching so much, but like there were aspects of it. I hate schools. I don't like schools in like a institutional kind of way. Um, you think it's to do with yin and yang? In what sense? I'm challenging you, Natalie, because you're answering the question. You're the only one answering the question, and I appreciate that. So I want to know what you mean by yin and yang, because if you're guessing, that's good, but where's it coming from? Like, where are you getting it from? What is it you're trying to get at? You got to, start with the source material and work from there. And, where's it coming from? What do you mean by yin and yang? I want to know the specifics. Devin Jim, hello. Watch Moon 2009, that's a synchronicity for me. Moon, I've been getting getting syncs on the moon. Solaris 2002, K-Pax 2001, Flashback 2020. Yeah, we did Flashback in our film discussion group recently. Powerful film. I'm glad you've watched it. I haven't seen the other ones. But thanks for the recommendations. All movies about ego and masculine and feminine aspects of consciousness. Cool. Cool, cool. That's awesome. Did you see yourself in any of those? Rod, do you think all the messages come from the same source, or is there some type of a battle for your soul going on between opposing forces? It depends on how you want to look at it. I think it's all coming from the same source, but like everything, we're in a dualistic world, and so there are opposing forces in the dualistic world until you get out of it, until you get out of the dualistic dualistic world, basically. So, yeah, it's all coming from the same source, which is you, and you need to um essentially stop looking at the duality, stop thinking of things as dualistic, stop participating in the checkerboard game, start playing Monopoly. There is no battle for your soul. There's no entity outside of yourself trying to steal your soul and trying to suck it and take it away. Like, you can't. You're an eternal being. That's not happening. You're not here to like fight for your existence. You're here to grow and expand your consciousness through this experience. So, but you cannot exit until you do. You cannot exit until you finish your story. Do you? Oh, wait. Moon 2009 is great. Interstellar ripped off a scene from that movie. Oh, did it? Oh, okay. Natalie, I haven't watched Oppenheimer, but I did watch Barbie. Okay, okay. I'm guessing it's to do with yin and yang because you suggested watch Oppenheimer, then Barbie, because Oppenheimer is negative. And I don't know if I said Oppenheimer is negative, but I mean that's a good rationale. I appreciate that. So like the whole Barbenheimer thing, it's all about Kundalini. So the Kundalini rising, the rise of the feminine, and the Oppenheimer explosion in the head. Have you watched the film The Congress 2013? No, I haven't even heard of it. Maybe up your street, very weird and tell relative in terms of AI. No, I haven't even heard of it. What is it about? Thanks for the recommendation. In terms of AI. Okay. I wonder who I will come back as for my next go round here. Why do you assume you're coming back? Why do you want to come back? Do you want to come back? It's your choice. It's your choice as to whether you come back or not. And your choice is made now. If you choose to come back, you will come back. If you choose to exit, you will receive all of the information that you need in order to exit. But you have to be prepared for the answer. That's the thing. A lot of people are not prepared for the answer. So if you don't want to come back, then you have to stop thinking that you're coming back. Then you have to say, I'm committed to leaving no matter what. I choose to leave. I'm coming home. I'm not staying here. I'm done. And you have to mean it. You have to mean it and you have to commit to it. And you cannot accept anything else. So that's what I mean by, are you prepared for the answer? You can ask the question, but are you prepared for the answer? If you are fully committed to leaving, then you have to be prepared for what you see, what you experience, what you get, what you learn, what it does to you and your life and your 3D life. It'll blow up your 3D life. Your 3D life will be blown up. If you're prepared for that, then welcome aboard. Like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But you have to be prepared that that's what's going to happen. And it all depends on how authentically you've been living. If you've been living an inauthentic life, your life will blow up. If you've been living an authentic life, it won't be so bad. So, yeah, like, be prepared for it. But if you don't want to come back here, then you have to commit to leaving. You have to commit to going home. And nothing else can matter. Seriously, nothing else can matter. You can't let the 3D interfere. You cannot accept distractions. You cannot get pulled in to, oh, I'm committed, but just put it off for a few months. I'm committed, but I'll wait until after I get this promotion and dedicate myself to my job for 3 years. Then I'll be okay. I'll have some time to commit to ascension. No, the job and the promotion's great and all, but that's secondary. And everything has to be secondary to the truth. Otherwise, you're just dabbling in it. It's not really that serious. You're not committed. And that means you're going to get deceived. You're going to get deceived because you're not ready to hear it. So I can't imagine what it would be like in that instant when you realize you're coming back again. Well, look, like, you're okay, right? I mean, you're living a decent life. You're okay. The only thing that sucks is your awareness of what you live in, and you don't like the aesthetics of it at the moment. You want it to be different. But you're okay. You're fine. You're healthy. You're safe. You're sitting here talking to awakened people. That's pretty good. And not wanting to come back. Well, why is it you don't want to come back? What are the things in this world that make you not want to come back? Is it awful? Is it painful? Is it full of suffering? Does it suck? Are you broke? Are you in pain? Are you in physical health, like ill health? Are you going through some traumatic drama? You got to fix all of that. You got to change all of that because it's manifesting for a reason. So yeah, if that's what your life is, I can understand why you don't like it here, but that's something that you're creating and you got to change it. So regardless of whether you're committed to leaving or not, you're still going to have to deal with your 3D experience, and you're still going to have to deal with you, because that's ultimately the only thing here, you. So you have to deal with yourself. And so yeah, like, if you're if you don't commit to exiting, you don't commit to finishing what you came here for, you're going to come back. And that's okay. But you have to know how to exit. And there's really no alternative. If you don't finish while you're here, while you are alive, you're automatically going to come back. You don't have a decision at the gate. There's no decision. Your decision is made here while you're alive. So there's no deciding, there's no negotiating, there's no bargaining. You don't get to the gates and say, "Hey, well, like, I just really don't want to go back." And so that's okay, right? I can just go home. No, you won't have that option. You just get rebooted. Coco, the ending of Under the Silver Lake, when Andrew Garfield talks to the homeless gnome, the cave they're in, I always saw it as a judgment after death scene until Andrew recognizes his faults and goes back to Earth. You will notice the billboard changes from his ex to a clown, and it's shot similarly to the start of the movie. Yeah, like a reincarnation thing. Yeah, because he was told that he didn't do what he needed to do. So he had to go back. He had to reincarnate, basically. Hello, P. Oh, I appreciate the flowers and the super cool sunglasses. Thank you. Hey, if you're here, like this video, appreciate it. You know that it's going to be good. Whether you're just joining us or not, you can go back and watch it, and it's still going to be good. um, Rod, life is good, but knowing what is what takes away from the life experience. Well, that should be the other way around, Rod. You're looking at the wrong story. You're looking at the 3D story. You're looking at the evil story. You got to look at the one story, the story I'm showing you, the story about true love. That's the story you got to look at. And that's the beautiful story. That's the love story. And that's what makes life wonderful. So stop looking at the evil story. Stop looking at the bad people that point a finger at and blame because they're not real. The thing that's real is the story I'm showing you. That's real. And then you see life as wonderful. So you gotta flip your perspective. Joyful to be here. Hello, hello. You're late, yes, but you're here now. Coco, have you ever noticed a new movie is made for you to tell you a message about something you were dealing with? I got this with Mickey 17. Absolutely awesome comment. Please elaborate because I want to hear more about this because this happens to me all the freaking time. Um Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but Barbenheimer manifested as a result of the end of Don't Worry Darling, as a result of my decoding Don't Worry Darling to give me a message, and because I needed to put out the final video for Don't Worry Darling's decode, and Barbenheimer needed to manifest in order for me to do that. So, yeah, that happened for sure. But I've had movies manifest all the time. All the time. And, things like, um, movies that just pop up, like they were released the next day after I make some kind of revelation or insight or decision or something, and the next day I see this movie that I'd never seen before pop up in my feed, and so I watch it and I'm floored because it is like acting out everything that has to do with that decision. I mean, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I have that happen all the time. Silver Sea, the Congress is about Robin Wright playing herself. Oh, okay. They even reference Princess Buttercup from The Princess Bride. Okay, wow, it's very meta, huh? She sells her likeness to a movie studio. Okay, I gotta watch this. This sounds awesome. Where they make films of her as and ends up skipping some time in the future, and it becomes very dystopic. It's similar to that Black Mirror episode, Joan is Awful, if not a direct ripoff. Oh, okay, that sounds really cool. That sounds really awesome. Thanks for the recommendation. I gotta remember that. If I don't write this stuff down, I will not remember because the chat goes and then I can't go back and find it. So the Congress movie. Cool. So yeah, this reminds me of that Nicolas Cage movie. You've not seen that Nicolas Cage movie where he plays himself and it references his movies and stuff? That's really funny too. I appreciated that. Coco, seems like that movie was made for you. How did the movie speak to you? Devin Jim, The Peripheral is a good show made by the same person who produced Westworld. Yeah, I watched some of that. I had a hard time getting into it though. I don't think I finished it. Did it? I think it only had one season or something. Natalie, your cat is so wholesome. Yeah, she's adorable. Thank you. I only started to believe in reincarnation just recently because of my dog. I'd got a rescue dog that already had a name, Shanty, and it means peace. But I was reading a book about mother and son, and her son had been here on Earth before, and the psychiatrist investigated and contacted the first person ever recorded to be legit reincarnated And her name is Shanti Devi. Wow, interesting. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I was kind of loose on reincarnation. I wasn't like 100% certain about it before, but now I am. Um, so yeah, there's definitely reincarnation. Absolutely. Coco, yeah, and Mickey 17 for me, it was about how Mickey 17 being the ego and 18 being the id or shadow self, who is essentially a clone of Mickey, but his other half. There's a lot of scenes where it talks about Mickey being able to communicate with the aliens. What stood out with me when Mickey 17 is worried about something, but Mickey 18 has to reassure him about the truth. Mickey 18 turns to 17 and brings up what was on Mickey's mind. And it was legit what I was dealing with at the time. Oh, wow. Okay. 100% talking to me. What's also weird is the movie is like a ripoff of my comfort movie. Wow. Yeah. See, these movies, like, they reflect you. They absolutely reflect you. Not just like it's like a massive synchronicity when that happens. Like, this is why the movies are so powerful. Because, like, movies are contained story, so it's like a compact story, and it's able to reflect an entire lifetime within the span of like less than 2 hours. So it's full of symbolism. It's rich with um themes and metaphor and allegory and layers and like there's so much in a movie, which is why they're so powerful. And with any story it's powerful, but movies particularly because of their compact nature and also because of their visual nature as opposed to, say, a book. But yeah, they reflect your story, they reflect a moment in time of what you're going through. They can be a total reflection of something you're trying to process. I mean, the last few weeks, uh I have been getting movie after movie, TV show after TV show that is bang on dealing with what I'm processing right now. And it's like, here's one piece, and then this piece builds on that piece, and then this piece builds on that piece. And now you're going to have all of the pieces. And then I started to decode some of this stuff and I started to get revelations, and then another piece fell into my lap that reflected what I was working on and build on it again. And I was just like, this is real, right? Like, this is bizarre. How is it possible that I'm experiencing all of this and most of it's invisible? Most of it, telling somebody, most people wouldn't understand. Most people wouldn't get it. But essentially it's like all synchronicities, all manifestations that are emanating from you to help you answer certain questions, to help you ascend, to help you get where you want to go. And when you're aware of it, basically that's it. You're just aware of the process now. And because you're aware of it, it becomes more obvious. It's almost like this stuff was sort of hiding before. And now that you're aware of it, it's like, oh, I can breathe now. I can be more public and more open about my weirdness and show you that the screen's talking to you, that the world is talking to you, and actually engage and participate a little bit more. So yeah, the more you participate in this, the more it participates and engages with you. Um, let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Debbie is another synchronicity for me. Natalie proper heads blown. Abracadabra, hello. The TV was talking to me the other day. Excellent. A guy was watching his girlfriend and a male rival doing improv. The guy gave scene suggestions that made him jealous, but he was the originator of the scene. Okay. So what was the communication for you? How was that communicating with you? That's cool. Um Devin Jim. Serenity with Matthew McConaughey is a good movie. I saw recently too. He realizes he's in a simulation that his son created. Oh, cool. Serenity. I feel like I've seen that movie. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I don't know how to spell his last name. You see my handwriting. Okay, Rod experienced a synchronicity yesterday while driving in Wisconsin as I drove by a town sign that read freedom. Freedom's a synchronicity of mine too. So I've had 3 synchronicities of mine: Moon, Devi, and Freedom in this chat alone. Thank you. The song on the radio finished with the lyrics, "Let freedom ring" at that moment. Wow, that's a good synchronicity. So, Rod, freedom is calling you. So answer the call. Freedom is calling you. Answer the call. Devin, it's called seeing the sacred in the mundane, means your right hemisphere feminine side of the consciousness is active and awake. Thank you very much. Indeed, it does. Bubble, the world is you. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Sacred. Okay. Bubble, like in the tarot, we are the world. Yes. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Coco, the amount of movies that reveal esoteric truths that you wouldn't think, like the Lego movie. Oh, for sure. Lego movie is pretty obvious, I think. The son created a Lego character called Emmett that makes his father the bad guy in the story. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we just watched E.T. and on the surface of things, hey, I asked a question in the community board about ET. I'm sure most of you have seen ET. So, who is ET? Who is Elliot? And why are they connected? That's the question I asked in the community chat. Nobody's answered it yet. Do you know? Do you have answers? I'd like to hear. But yeah, we watched that movie. And on the surface of things, like there's some stuff in there that's kind of obvious. But when you dig deeper, there's a lot in that movie. There's a lot. And, a lot of these movies, like every single movie, no matter what, no matter how retarded you think it is, no matter how dumb you think it is, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, highly esoteric. No matter how stupid you think the movie is, it's rich with codes, it's rich with messaging, but it also depends on how deep you go, because some movies are worth digging deeper than others. Like I don't think I would want to sit here and decode Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure too deep, mostly because I don't hate the movie. I thought it was okay, kind of funny, but I don't like it all that much. But ET had surprising level of depth in that film for what seems like a very family-friendly classic. And it's a kind of an easy to digest film, but there's a lot of depth in that movie. Abracadabra, so we can write better shows for ourselves. Sure can. The fact E.T. takes place on Halloween, which is the day of the fae, fairies, demons meets the humans. Yeah, well, Halloween is in there. I mean, it takes place around Halloween for sure. But, I think it takes place in a couple of days, right? But yeah, basically Halloween. Even the most random things like a vending machine or a piece of cheese can be decoded esoterically. Yes, it can. We were decoding Reese's Pieces from E.T., and there's a highly esoteric meaning behind Reese's Pieces and the peanut. So anybody want to take a stab at that? But yes, you can, absolutely, because everything is fractals of something else. It's all fractals of the whole, and it all represents the one story. So yes, you could absolutely decode a piece of cheese. It's the same neighborhood as Poltergeist, which is a movie about the TV. Is it the same neighborhood? Oh, that's cool. I remember watching Poltergeist. Actually liked it. I saw it when I was younger, not too young, but young enough. And I was fascinated by what fascinated me was the TV. It fascinated me that she went into the TV and that there was something on the other side of the TV. That was just so strange, such a strange concept to me, but it didn't scare me in a sense. It just fascinated me. And but I like those kinds of movies. I like the more psychological thriller type films. I don't like horror stuff. I don't really see that movie as a horror per se, but I mean, I guess it is. Silver Sea. Are you familiar with another YouTube channel called uh Finis Finas? I think it's called Finis Temporis. End Times. They break down other movies. He shows how 9/11 was predicted, a lot of old films. Yes, I'm familiar with his channel. I feel that he's limited and possibly a shill, um, because he, says these things like it's predictive media and stuff, and he doesn't really get beyond that because it's not really like it is and it isn't predictive media because it's all telling the same story. 9/11 is the one story. 9/11 is Christ. 9/11 is the IXXI. It's the Emergency. It's the 911 trauma center. So he doesn't get past that point of saying that movies predicted 9/11, and he kind of gets stuck in the whole Christian satanic duality stuff. So while he does catch a lot of stuff to some extent, he doesn't go beyond it. He doesn't go deeper. And so I'll get a little frustrated, but it's beneficial for beginners, I guess. Bubble, can you decode gang stalking? It's been happening to me the last 2 years. I get a lot on light vehicles and brightening. There's a record called One Headlight. Well, gang stalking is self-created. So, I mean, you just said that the world is you. So you're the one who's creating it by believing that you're being gang stalked. So stop believing you're being gang stalked because you're not. You think you are. And that's what you're creating. You're creating the experience of being gang stalked, but you're not. So you want it to go away? Stop saying you're being gang stalked because it's not actually happening. And I'm talking from experience. I went through an experience of feeling like I was being a targeted individual, and I went through that and I was like, what am I experiencing here? What's going on? And then I stopped focusing on it and it all went away because it was just created. It was self-created. Fourth Wall 9S. What's that? Oh, you mean the Nines? The movie The Nines? Yeah. Coco, I used to be like that as well. I originally thought all the symbols and music videos were satanic. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I went through that phase too. Like the whole, because that's what they tell you, right? And it's like, because a lot of these channels that point out symbolism are Christian channels, and they talk about things in terms of satanic. And that's the downfall of a lot of these Christian channels. And then Christians will get upset with you for saying anything because they think that you're anti-Christian. Look, the whole thing is brainwashing. So, if you're caught up in all of that, that vertical funnel of Christianity from the church, it's not true Christianity. And you're not seeing clearly. You're being brainwashed into believing in a false idol, in a physical human being as Jesus, and worshiping the man and not doing what he says. And then everything else is satanic because you're being brainwashed into believing in the fear. So you're looking at everything through the lens of fear, but Jesus taught you to look at everything through the lens of love. So you're doing the complete opposite of what he preached. And anybody who says anything different is antichrist. So, these Christians got to wake up. They got to wake up. Like, they're going the wrong direction. And that's by design. The people who, when we went through the fall, the Bible and Christianity and everything was made into a man worshiping cult. And it's been controlled and manipulated into believing the complete opposite of what Jesus taught in the Bible. Whether Jesus was a real person or not, doesn't matter. I mean, the idea of Jesus is in everybody. So, yeah. But a lot of these decoding channels are Christian, and then they teach that symbolism is evil because they teach that everything is evil. Like, when they're teaching you that sacred geometry is evil, you know that they're taking a wrong turn. Sacred geometry is just like physical shapes. How can that be evil? They teach you that spirit and inspiration is evil. How can that be evil? They teach you that yoga is evil. They teach you Kundalini is evil. I mean, everything is evil except Jesus to Christians, which makes absolutely no sense. Devin Jim, Swan Song is another good movie worth watching about an allegory of a man who purchased a clone of himself to take care of his family because he's dying. He learns to let go of everything. Ego death. Okay, interesting. Never heard of that either. You saw a movie called 9. It came out 999. Saw it in the movies when I was 9, and my life path is 9. Okay, wow. It was an animated movie. Oh, I thought you were referring to the movie The Nines. Okay. I've not heard of an animated movie called 9, but interesting. It's by the studio that made Coraline. I heard about it. The movie is about alchemy. It's about coming into the age of Aquarius as well. Oh, cool. Okay. I will write that down too, but I don't. Yeah, I haven't heard of that before. The human split his soul among puppets in a chaotic world. Yes, these other channels teach nothing but spookism and fear. That's why I like this channel. Thanks, Devin. Yeah, spookism. I like that term, spookism. Well, this is the problem. Like, if it's teaching fear, this is why it doesn't make any sense. Like, how can you be Christian, follow the words of Jesus that tells you to see everything through the eyes of love and to love unconditionally, and then simultaneously be fear-mongering and full of hate? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, like, there's like compartmentalization going on in there. That reminds me, last year I really resonated with the gang stalking thing, and you changed my mindset somehow by saying about your own experience, and I changed my mindset and it worked. Thank you for that. You're welcome. You're welcome, Nat. I really appreciate you telling me that, because, gang stalking can be terrifying and it's not real. And people get upset if you tell them that it's not real, that it's self-created, and they think that, oh, you're telling me it's all in my head, that I just made it up. Well, yeah, you did. And that means that you can uncreate it. You can stop it. You can change your perspective and recognize that it's an illusion and it's not actually happening. You just think it's happening. Therefore, you believe it's happening. Therefore, you perpetuate it. And so, it can be terrifying. So you're welcome. I changed your life. You're welcome. Did you hear about that church that was selling real estate in heaven? Well, no, I did not. But I mean, that's cheeky, isn't it? Hey, I got a place for you in heaven. I'll sell you some real estate. It's like, they even sell you graveyards, right? They sell you a plot for you to bury your body after you're not even here, that somebody still has to pay for. But because you're dead, they resell that plot of land after a certain time to somebody else. Like, so what do they do with the bodies that's buried there? They incinerate it? Like, what do they do with it? What is the point of buying a plot of land in a graveyard thinking that you're gonna be there forever, and then they turn around and sell it to somebody else? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And, like, all the conspiracy people are like, "Oh, there's not enough." Hey, I don't blame them because it's true. There's not enough graveyards or gravestones for all of the people who have died over millions of years or thousands of years or however long they believe that the earth has been here. There aren't enough headstones, gravestones, graveyards for all of the dead people. So what happens to them all? Where do they all go? Are there as many people in this world as they tell us? So, yeah, they will sell you a plot of land. You don't own the plot of land that you live on with your house. That can be taken from you. When you sell it, they tax you, so you that can be taken from you. When you die, you have to buy a piece of land to put your body in, and then that's taken from you. And then they wanna sell you a piece of land in heaven where there is no land. That's priceless. Oh my god. Alright. So, well, this was fun. Any final thoughts on this subject? I really enjoyed myself. It's a little over an hour. I'm gonna go for a walk soon, so I always wondered why they don't make forests and graveyards, like plant trees over the graves. Yeah, well, that's because the roots will lift up the coffins. You don't want that happening, do you? So, yeah. I mean, there are trees in graveyards, but they have to be far enough away. But, like, I mean, you look at, say, Père Lachaise in France, where they've got Jim Morrison's body and all sorts of, like, ancient tombs and stuff. Those people have been there for a very long time, and the whole thing is concrete. Like, all of it's paved over. Where are these bodies actually buried? Because it doesn't look like there's any dirt there. Anyway, um, thank you for participating in this live chat. It was a lot of fun. And, yeah, nobody answered the question about ET. I'm gonna let you, answer that question on the community tabs. But anyway, thanks for joining. Hope you're having a great week. I will see you next week, same time, and, watch a bunch of movies and decode them. Alright, thanks. Bye.